everybody. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome as well. So, I am just a stay at home mom. I have several children, a couple different random jobs that I do, and eBay is something I do. It's just kind of a hobby. It's also a way for me to generate some income. It's a really fantastic tool for me, or opportunity for me, even because I can work when I want to. I can work when it fits into my schedule. I can work when other people are asleep. I can work, for a little bit of time here and more time here. It's totally up to me, and I can still make an income. So every month, I share with you everything I sold, little snippets of video footage, and I share with you some information about how much I paid for those items and, where I found them and so on and so forth. So what you're about to see is all the footage from July 2025. I'm a little behind getting this video pulled together. So you're about to see all that footage, and then at the end of the video, I'll share with you some statistics. I'll share with you more in numbers, how much I made, and things like that. So here you go. Here are the videos. Back growing panes in very nice condition. And this I sold for $13.25. And one of my favorites, a sewing pattern, also fairly recently listed. This is for like a Dolly and Me little collection, so you can make something for yourself and something for a child and something for a doll. So this is a pre-owned pattern, but it's unused. It's still factory folded and uncut, and this I sold for $10.80. So this is a vintage 1986 hardcover. It's a volume 2, Word Studies in the Greek and New Testament. This came with those different donations, well, not donations, the book sales that we purchased what was remaining at with a donation. So in good use condition, and this I sold for $20.99. So here I have 2 special value packages by CoverGirl. They include a mascara and a eyeliner, and these I sold together for a total of $12.75. I've had these a while. These were from Wholesale Ninjas. You can see the packaging's a little beat up, but they're unopened. So $12.75 for those. And then I have a pre-owned paperback. I just listed this, so it went pretty quickly. I sold it for $14. It's got a little wear and tear, but overall still in good condition. And then a sewing pattern, a vintage simplicity dress pattern, and this I sold for $11. So here I have a guide to garden flowers illustrated in color. I actually sold 2 of these little books, this same one and another one, I think it was Wildflowers, a couple months ago, and I recently had picked up all 3 of them. So this is from 1945, and actually I've sold these before. So if you see these anywhere and they're in decent condition, they do sell well. Of course, it has some wear, beautiful illustrations. And this, so actually this I paid 50 cents for. I sold this for $19. And then I have one of the newest vintage patterns I got. I got many brand new ones from the 70s. And so this is just a cute little blouse in size 16, still factory folded. And this I sold for $15. Paid a quarter for that. And then I have a bag of plastic canvas shapes. So a lot of circles, some hearts, and even some butterflies. Oh, there they are. Now this I got at one of the Salvation Army fabric fairs on their half price day. And what I've found with these, I've sold several collections of them. Ordinarily I can get, I get them in a bag, or I get them super cheap and put them all together. So this was $1 full price, but I was there on half price day, so this was 50 cents for this collection of these. But what I've found is there are still some folks that are interested in making things with the plastic canvas. And they have a hard time finding the design shapes that they want or what they need. So it's a great thing to sell on eBay and something you can pick up super cheap. So these I sold for $25.99. And a pre-owned DVD series. I think there's 12 discs on here. The Royal Mysteries, all in nice used condition. The discs look great. And this I sold for $18. My next two sales here, I believe I listed them both the same day. So the first sale is this lot of two counted cross-stitch pamphlets. Dynamite. This one's just different dinosaur things. Just a leaflet, basically. And then we have dinosaurs. This one's a little thicker. So I paired these together because they kind of had a similar theme. And I sold these for $13.55. These were given to me. Someone wanted rid of them, and they said, here, do you want to see if you can sell these? I'm going to donate them. So I sold those. And then this one also, the Cricket Collection. A type of like patriotic theme on this one. And this I sold for $10. This is a pre-owned devotional, hardcover, A New Desire. And this, it's in really good condition. It has a dedication from the author to the original owner. And this I sold for $10.25. So these are two vintage Boyce Needle Master kits from the 60s or 70s. This came along with one of them. Not sure which. And I have had these listed a long time. So they are missing some pieces. Like, as you can see here, the set of 7 needles is gone. So these are like interchangeable needles. You can attach them to different size of these connectors to make like a circular knitting needle, which is really like just the best way to knit anyways. Yeah, so you can see 7's missing. Looks like 1 of 10 is gone. Over here, 13 is missing. And then this other kit has smaller sizes. And you can see this one has more of the circular parts. It is missing the 21 inch. But this one has all of the needle sizes. So this is Needle Master Junior. And you know, it has been so long. I am really kind of drawing a blank on these. I feel like one of them was $5, and I don't know. I just don't even know. It's been so long, but I also can't imagine. I mean, I would have bought them at a fabric fair, a Salvation Army fabric fair. So anywho, these I sold for $33.99. Then I also have a Marshall Cavendish Encyclopedia of World War II, volume 15. I have been selling these for quite some time. I had a set, but not a complete set. It was missing a few numbers. This is a pretty extensive encyclopedia set. And so I just listed them all individually, and I've been selling them periodically. So this is volume 15. This is an ex-library book. And this I sold for $12.55. And then I have a Vintage Vines commentary. This is a 1981. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a dictionary of Old and New Testament words. Hardcover. Has some writing on the inside. Still has lots of life left in it. And this book I sold for $12. So this is a pre-owned but factory sealed counted cross stitch kit. It's got some beautiful metallic thread in there. And it is to make these different ornaments, holiday sparkle ornaments, set of 24. And you can see the original price on that, $52.16. Yikes. And this, I believe I paid $5 for this, which is probably more than I should have. But anyhow, it is what it is. I sold it for $25, so I will make a profit off of it. But I don't typically pay that much for a counter cross stitch kit. And then I have 2 of these Embellish Your Story. These are like metal magnets that you use to make like a decorated kind of magnetic bulletin board type of idea. I had never heard of these or seen these before, but I just recently picked up a bag full of these at the Goodwill. So this is the second set of them that I've sold. They seem to have a good bit of interest in them. And the set of 2 of these I sold for $25. I think my entire collection of these that I picked up, I paid $7 for. So things are looking good on that. And then we have a pre-owned paperback. This has intensive marking in it, writing in it. I saw writing somewhere. There's a mark there. There you can see some underlining. But it still has some life in it, and whoever bought it must not be too concerned about all the marking, because it was mentioned, it was photographed, it was listed as acceptable in quality. So this I sold for $12.75. And then we have a hardcover devotional, like new condition. Looks very good. And this I sold for $11. And lastly, a pre-owned but still factory folded Hannah Montana sewing pattern. Check that out. So this pattern was either free or a quarter. And I sold this for $8.15. So this is a pre-owned vintage paperback copy of Master Secrets of Prayer. Has a little wear, but overall looks very nice. I sold this for $11.25. Okay, so I have a copy of Instruments in the Redeemer's Hand. I've sold a few of these now, I believe. Pretty good, looks pretty nice. $15.55 for that one. And then we have the first and second books of Adam and Eve, also pre-owned. Looks pretty nice. This one I sold for $11. And Theology of the Psalms, a hard cover, also looks nice, also pre-owned. And this one I sold for $13.99. Now this is a special sewing pattern. It's by Claire Schaefer's Custom Couture collection. I've sold one of these before, right after I listed it. Not the exact same pattern, but the same brand. It's not a real common brand. I have not seen this real often, but for some reason they are more desirable, worth a little more money. So this one I sold for $25.99. It is actually going to London, so they paid even a little more than that. So today I have this little pre-owned paperback, What the Bible Says About Dealing with Difficult People. This I sold for $10.25. This was one of those books that just came from the end of the book sale that we made a donation for the remaining items. Then I have, this is a new little gift Bible with like a pleather, I think they call it a leather-like, yes, leather look. This is what we call it, leather look. Brown, tan, leather look. And this I sold for $15.99. And then we have this beautiful quilt book, which I picked up at one of the Salvation Army fabric fairs. And here, because this was a specific price, I paid $1.25 for this, so I just stuck a Post-it on here so I wouldn't forget. I thought that this would be resale a little more. This particular sale I was at is just so busy. I just pick up things, and if they're not really worth anything, I just donate them. I figure, you know, it all goes to a good cause anyways. So, but anyways, I'll make a little money off of this. I sold this for $11.25. So this is a 1969 hardcover. I just recently listed a few books pretty similar to this, and they've got a lot of interest. This did not hang around long. Maybe 4 days or something. Not long. It seems to be kind of rare. So this I sold for $31.99, and I paid $1 for this book. All right, YouTube world, I am just giving you a little teaser here. All of these things, the pink thing, the long tote, this tote, the box, this other box, this other little tote. These were all a lot of items I just purchased off of Facebook Marketplace. Mostly fabric, some other things. I have not dug through these at all yet. I've looked in and seen surface level. Super excited. I paid $100 for the set, for the collection. And soon the video of the haul is coming and you will get to see everything. Super excited. So stay tuned. Okay, so I have 4 packs of briefs by Warner's. This is actually 2 separate sales, but I had done the discount. If you buy more than one of these items, you got like an additional discount. So the listing initially was one of each style of color theme, I guess, in the brief 3X. Oops, look at that. Just got a mistake. I almost sent them a 2X. I'm going to have to go find the other 3X because it's supposed to be 3 packs of 3X. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I hate it when I... Thank goodness that was prevented. Okay. So anyways, one item was a set of this colorway and a set of this colorway together. And then if you bought more than one set, you got 10% off. So original price for 2 was $29.75, and then when they purchased all 4, the price ended up being $59.50. So these, I got a bunch of these at Walmart on clearance for $1 a package. It was one of those. Sometimes Walmart has incredible, wonderful clearances, and sometimes they have clearances that are really not worth your time of day. Even for like personal use, if you were considering something. So this happened to be one of those great clearances, and I've learned, I wondered why they were clearancing these, and I've since figured it out. They changed how they were packaging these Warner's undergarments. They now are like in a plastic package. So that's why they were clearing them out. So anyways, $4 is what I spent on all those and sold them for $59.50. Of course, there will be shipping and eBay fees, but still a pretty good profit margin on those. And then I have this pre-owned paperback. You can see it has a little wear to the cover. It's one of those covers that kind of has like a leathery feel to it, even though it's paper. So it has some wear, pre-owned. This actually is going to someone in the United Kingdom, so they're actually paying a little more than my regular purchase price just to get it to them. So, and this book, I mean, all of the little flaws are fully visible in my photographs. I do lots of photographs. And this book sold for $15. So this is a vintage collection of old lighters and matches. Long ago, everybody gave out matchbooks because a whole lot of people smoked. And this is actually my father-in-law and mother-in-law's little collection that they acquired over the years. And they gave it to us to sell, get rid of. They really didn't like to donate things. I don't know. They would just give it to people and then let the people donate it. So anyways, I have had these listed for a long time, at least 4 years. And they finally sold, so that's exciting. They sold for $14. So this is a vintage cross-stitch needlepoint, counted half cross-stitch needlepoint, Birch Lake. And this I picked up at one of the fabric fairs, the Salvation Army fabric fairs. You can see it's unopened, brand new. And this I sold for $21. And then I have 2 of these Embellish Your Story magnets, which I've been selling these like mad since I bought them. They're really going really quickly. I did not know they even existed, but people make like magnetic type of sort of collages with them. I don't know what else they might do. But so I sold the pair of these together for $19.25. And how I came across these, I bought 2 bags of them, just a bunch of them together in a bag, and I spent like $7 total. So I ended up with quite a few listings, and I kind of paired them up. So not a whole lot of expense on these, but they're desirable, and there's not many of them. And this is a pre-owned workbook, but unused in very good condition, Temptation. And then we also have Creations Tiny Mystery. This is a vintage paperback in good condition, and this I sold for $14.55. And a brand new hardcover, Salvation Applied by the Spirit. And this is a book of some worth. This I sold for $48.99, and this sold actually pretty quickly. I had not had this listed too long. And this is a vintage paperback from 1976, The Life and Journeys of Paul. This book I sold for $10, but oh my goodness, I couldn't find it. My daughter and I both couldn't find it. I had to enlist my husband's assistance, and I thought, oh my gosh, I lost it. But it was found, so I'm excited about that. So this is a vintage pre-owned hardcover book, Holiness Unto the Lord, the story of the Roxbury Holiness Camp, which is actually a semi-local camp here to this area that I live in. And this, I had never seen this before I came across it. But this book I sold for $18. And then I have 2 pre-owned CDs by Mendiza, excuse me, both in used good condition. They look good. This discs play, and these I sold for $11.99. So I have a pre-owned CD by Don Moen, Hiding Place, in good used condition, and this I sold for, what did I sell it for? $8.55. This came at the end of the book sale that we made the donation for. What was remaining, I have As a Man Thinketh, pre-owned vintage little hardcover, and this I sold for $15. A Testament of Devotion, another pre-owned vintage hardcover. This is from 1941. It has some wear, but still in very nice condition. And this I sold for $21.99. And then I have a pre-owned but in very nice condition Bible. Dedication pages blank in it. You can see there's a couple turned under corners there. And this I sold for $20.55. This is a like new paperback. Excuse me. My voice is a little not awake yet, I guess. Trusting the Shepherd, great condition. This I sold for $12. This did not take long to sell. And then I have An Autobiography of Prayer by Albert Day. This is clearly a vintage book, and it is signed by the author. Now this I have had listed a while, I would say at least 2 years, but it just sold for $37.99. And now I have these 2 books. So these books, I just recently listed, I would say 2 weeks ago. You can see they're both these Puritan classics, and I purchased several of these Puritan classic books, or these NFCE books, but they were a very random assortment. They were all by the same publisher, similar like binding, a couple different colors, different authors, but they still were similar, but none like no complete set. So this is from 1971. You can see it's in very nice condition. That is an exposition of 1 John by Pink. And then this one is Song of Solomon by John Gill. Same about age, I believe. Anyways, these, the box of books I've got of these, which I probably got like maybe 12 to 16 different copies of similar titles. I don't know if this one, if I can see a date on this one. I paid $1 a piece for them. Well, right after I listed them, I had an individual really interested in this book in particular and a couple others, not this one, I don't think. And they wanted to give me, I don't know, I think like 20 a piece for the different ones I had listed. But I thought they were going to sell well. By the time we had done all this communication, he said that they probably had a lot of clicks because he was clicking them, but I could see there was a couple watchers, and I knew he couldn't have been watching all of them. So time went by, and he messaged me again just like at the beginning of the weekend, and he said, okay, it's been about 2 weeks and these books are still here. Are you ready to sell them to me? I already have them, but I'm always looking for better copies. And I said, I'm pretty sure that they're going to sell at the price they're at. Thank you for your interest. If I do lower them, it'll be like by $1 or $2 at a time after a couple months of being listed. And so he said, okay. And then the next day, or very shortly after, the book he really wanted sold. So I'm sure he has seen that because he's watching it. I don't know if that will encourage him to buy other books or not. But there's always people out there looking for a deal. And I don't blame them. I'm always looking for a deal. But anyways, I'm glad I held steady. So these are actually both going over the ocean to the United Kingdom. And so the red one, and they're going to the same individual, which is great. So I'll save a little on shipping. The red one I sold for $27.99. And the blue one, no, the green, black, whatever color it is, one, I sold for $25.99. And I also have this little pre-owned paperback, good condition, The Forbidden Book. And this also sold pretty quickly, and I sold it for $20.25. So these are 5 little stamp pads by Woody's in different shades, little tins, made in Germany. And 1 little stamp. I have a few different lots of these for sale, all new. And this I sold for $12.25. And then I have a pre-owned vintage book. And this I sold for $12. So here today I have some more of these magnets. They sure were a good buy. Embellish your story. So we have It's a Girl, and I had paired this little lamb with it. I thought it coordinated well. And these I sold together for $27.99. Then we have a vintage book, a 1940 or 54 edition, sketches of sermons on the parables and miracles, pre-owned. And this I sold for $18. And then, isn't this cool? Out of the Doors in the Holy Land. Beautiful. Now this is an antique book. This is a 1909 copy. You can see it's old, in fantastic condition for the age. There is some wear. And this book I sold for $15.75. And then lastly, I have a sewing pattern. Haven't sold any of these in a little while. I'm not sure why, but I'm happy to be selling this one. Sold this for $18.99. This pattern either cost me less than a quarter or was free. So great deal on that. This is pre-owned, but still factory folded and uncut. Okay, last sales of the month. I have these two American Girl, the Care and Keeping of You books. One is for older girls and one is for younger girls. I've had these listed a long time. I actually picked them up because I thought I wanted to use them for a daughter, but I don't remember what. There was some sort of context I wasn't real into. I can't remember what. And so I decided to list them. So they've been listed a long time, and they finally sold, so that's wonderful. I actually had recently been thinking about just getting rid of them. So I sold these for $8.55. And then we have another pattern. Cute pajama collection. Brand new, factory folded. And this I sold for $12. Okay, so thanks for watching that. I hope you enjoyed that and found it interesting. I also want to mention I'm fiddling around with a background here. I can see it's doing something funny with my hair here. Tried to get my hair slicked down as much as possible so it would cooperate, but this background is actually a picture I took of some Rose of Sharon bushes that I have going up my lane, and so it's kind of a pretty picture. Anyways, so I don't know if I'll continue doing this or not, but I thought it was fun. So you just saw everything for July 2025. So for the month of July, I had 58 sales. Out of those 58 sales, my total profit was $493.59. Now that is after my cost of the products. It's after my eBay fees, because eBay does have fees. It's after all of my shipping costs, and it's also after what I pay one of my children who is my eBay assistant. So $493.59, and if I divide that by the 58 sales, I have a total profit of $851 per sale. So the month of July, thank goodness I finally got some listings up. I believe in June I listed absolutely nothing. It was pitiful. I have been on a quest for a couple years to hit 2,000 active listings by the end of the year. And so that's more than just getting to 2,000 listings, because you also have what you sell, which kind of, tax away at what you've listed. But I'm actually making some progress on that, and I'm excited. So in July, I listed 112 items. So we're getting there. I also in this video showed you a little snippet of like all this fabric I got and sewing things from somebody off of Facebook Marketplace, and how I'm like super excited to go through that. Well, I still haven't made it through that, and right now at this current time it is like towards the end of August. But I gave myself a I I guess I rewarded myself. I gave myself a kind of a false expectation. Nobody's enforcing this expectation except for me. But I told myself I needed to get through all the books I had waiting for me from the previous book sale that we purchased all the remaining books from before I could go through that beautiful stack of gloriousness. So I am almost there. I have maybe 8 books that I need to finish up the listing for, and then I can go through that stuff. And I am going to make a video of that haul. Super excited about what is in there. And I think I'm going to keep track of yards of fabric and stuff too, so I can, have a ballpark of what it cost per yard or per item or something like that. So, but anyway, so I'm almost there. I have 8 books to finish listing, and I'll be able to go through that, and I'm so excited. But last month here, in the month of July, I sold 6 sewing patterns, 39 books. So that wasn't 39 sales of books, but 39 books. So that's pretty cool. 15 CDs or DVDs were in those 58 sales as well. So I thought that was interesting and noteworthy. I think a lot of times we think of CDs and DVDs being irrelevant, but there are actually some people out there actively looking for those. And there are also some that, they have lots of purposes. First of all, not everybody has internet access consistently, or maybe they travel places, or they have a vacation home, a cabin or something where they don't have internet. And so they're looking for, these items. Also, if you have a CD, you can put music into your iTunes, and then you can put it on a USB, or you can, save it in some other way. So you can buy a CD, and then you have access to all these songs. You don't have to necessarily keep the CD. And there are CDs and DVDs that are just not available. There is music that you can have a hard time getting a hold of if you don't have the CD for it, depending on the particular music or depending on the particular recording. So I just find that really interesting. I was to one book sale, and their entire media room at this book sale, the book sale is split up in different rooms for different items, like fiction, children's books, and there was a media room, and it was all the CDs, all the DVDs, and that type of thing, CD-ROM discs, and that room was entirely free. They weren't even selling it. And yeah, I don't know, it's pretty incredible. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like my new background. I don't know if it'll stick around. Just trying it out. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon in another video.